You ready? Hey, mommies! Welcome to the Pablo Show.
I'm Miriam.
And I'm Lachey, aka Shay.
Hey.
Today's topic is confessing your biggest parenting failure.
Ooh. Yikes.
Okay, this is like, we've been a little goofy for most of the shows, but this is something like that I guess we can be serious about because these are things that as women that we struggle with or that we have to think about or that we've, thought about.
Yeah.
So I have one of the parenting failures that I used to struggle with, and I don't think I really struggle with now because I'm at a different place where I'm not relationship hungry, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So my parenting failure in the past, to a certain extent, just a little bit, just a teensy bit, is not giving my son the traditional family that he wants. My son verbalizes a lot how he wants me to be married, and he wants me to give him a baby brother.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
So he wants you to have two boys.
Yes. Because his dad has a little girl, so he was like, my daddy had a girl, he gave me a sister, now it's your turn to give me a brother. You know?
Wow.
So that used to bother me a lot. And I felt like because of that, I felt like he wasn't going to thrive like he should have with two parents in the home and us building a bigger family. So that was one of the things that really I struggled with as a single mom. Like I felt like I was a failure to not give him that traditional family that he wants, and then after I stopped letting a 6-year-old guilt me on that kind of stuff,
Right.
and realize like you're a child, I understand you want that, but with other help with mentors and family and adults who went through what I went through, that you're not lacking because you don't have this, and you are whole in Christ, so it's gonna be fine if you don't.
Right.
So once I have to kind of, I guess, change my mindset on him not being raised in a 2-parent home, then he doesn't necessarily verbalize it as much.
Okay.
That's what he definitely wants.
Wow, that's something how that happens when we change our mind and we start acting out different things as parents. I like what you said about knowing that you're whole and complete in Christ, because that's when it happens, right? Like you're more ready because you've accepted the fact that you are whole without a man in the house.
Absolutely.
So you're more in position. So hey, shout out to them, baby.
I wouldn't say all that, but
Coming along.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's not that I'm not ready. It's just that, do I want it?
Okay.
I have that attitude right now.
Okay.
And maybe it might cross over to like, maybe I want it, but that's a whole different topic.
I know.
Okay, what about you? What are one of your parenting failures that you wanted to address?
Well, I definitely have two. The first one that I want to address is before I gave birth to Janiyah, my oldest. She, went through a lot of emotional stress because I allowed myself to be in this stressful situation, emotionally charged situation with their father.
While you were pregnant?
While I was pregnant.
Okay.
So I would literally feel the effects. Like I never when I was a doctor, my levels was always my readings, my blood pressure, everything was always normal. I was very healthy before I got pregnant. So she was they're both very healthy children. But in particular, I remember one night I was just boohoo crying just over all the stuff that was going on. And I was just sitting in the car and I was just like, I'm sorry, Janiyah, for having to bring you into a world and a situation like this. And I just felt like my stomach did the whole alphabet. She was just moving, she formed an A. I feel like she formed a B, all the way to Z, because she was just moving. It's like she was like, oh my gosh. And it was a number of times where I felt uncomfortable because of the life I was choosing to allow myself to live at that time with their father. And I just felt like she felt those effects effects, and in result of that, now she's like a very emotional child. Like, they're normal, by far. They're very normal, and thank God for that. But I'm just saying, like, she's already a girl, so most girls are very emotional. We grow up to be emotional women, which is fine. But she's definitely like, I have to get a handle on her emotions. Like, look, you're not the victim. You're not the victim all the time, and discipline her. So I feel like that's a part of
what you gave her.
Exactly.
Or say, kind of trickle down to. Okay. I'm trying to figure out why my son emotional, because I was so on cloud 9 and bubbly. And he got the opposite. Like, he's not emotional, but he has his moments. I'm like, why? Why are you crying? Like, I don't get it.
Really?
I don't. But I think part of it is just him having that only child syndrome.
Okay.
Just being spoiled.
Yeah.
So.
And it could be in my mind. It could be just something that she was going to be born with, that personality or those traits, just, regardless of what I went through.
But part of it might be true, because a lot of times, too, like they say, if a woman, like they say, happy wife, happy life. Mm-hmm. So if we as women affect the household with our moods, I mean, it might have some,
Yeah, I could be exaggerating.
No,
but in my mind,
I wouldn't say that.
In my mind, that's what I go back to. Like, that's one of the moments where I'm just like, I just apologize
to her for giving her the emotions.
I just felt so bad. I was just soaking. And of course, when you're pregnant, like, you remember everything.
And you're hormonal. Like, I don't think you're hormonal when you're pregnant. Some people are just extra emotional. Some people are just extra happy. Some people are just extra mean. You have a whole life.
Oh yeah,
growing in your side of you, and people don't understand that's a miracle in itself.
Yeah.
So if I decide to be soaking and crying one day, let me have that, because it's a whole.
It was a many a day.
I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, but okay.
Yeah. And I believe that's one reason they encourage women to do what they feel when they're pregnant. Like, eat, not how you want, just whatever, just gorge them, but just like take a relaxation, like take a breath, kick your feet up, keep your levels even, and whatever makes you happy. You want to go to the movies, you want to sleep in pajamas all day, whatever.
Just do what you want.
Because, and the end result is the baby being affected.
That's true, because that's very true. I have to remember when I was pregnant, moments when I was pregnant, because when I was pregnant, I worked for law enforcement, and it was. They kept, like, the women who are pregnant, we had like a certain cottage and areas that we can only be in, and we couldn't be around juveniles and things like that. And it was times where a juvenile approached me, and he was going to try to do something, like hit or something, and I grabbed a bat. It was like a bat in the corner. It was a random bat in the corner. I grabbed a bat, and I held it, and I was just going off, like yelling. And I heard all these officers running through the office, like, telling him, sit down. And they, like, kind of took me out of the situation. But the stress of that, when I say I was in pain, like, my stomach.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I had to go home. Like, they was like, Hawkins, just go home. You need to rest. And my boss was like, don't even come tomorrow. Like, take a day. But the next day, the aftermath of that, I was in so much pain physically.
Yeah.
Just from that situation. Like, I'm a pregnant woman. You can approach a pregnant woman like, you're that stupid? Mm-hmm. So I agree, because the physical part of it, I was just drained. I felt like I was in a whole fight, and I was just talking, going, like, I felt like I was beat. Wow. I got beat up.
That's abuse. That is a form of abuse.
And I was just like, girl, my body was in pain. Wow. So
preeclampsia is a real thing too.
Yeah.
Preeclampsia,
and it was just like, good. It was a very stressful situation. So after that incident, they put me on a different assignment where I wouldn't be directly with juveniles to keep my stress level down.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So I was strictly no. Oh yeah, girl. Oh, he would have got hurt before me. Trust. Okay, the other parenting failure, or confessing my parenting failure, I think for me is time management.
Okay.
Or time, because I have to work. But that's one of the things I think I would never get over until I'm able to be more involved with my son's school, his homework, things like that. I work full time, so my ultimate dream is to do my show when I want to do it, how I want to do it, and have the time to be a parent teacher. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. Like, go to the classroom at least once or twice a week. Mm-hmm. Pick him up from school, do homework with him, things like that. Go on field trips, but because I work full time, I just have I'm still struggling with that. That's one thing I think I haven't got a hold of because I feel like I'm missing out on so much.
Okay.
So I feel like if I would have took care of things differently, as far as schooling and things like that, or set myself up differently, he wouldn't be affected with getting less time with me. Okay. And also too, I think his behavior would be a little bit different as far as like the way he handles his stress and temper and things like that, because being a full-time mom, a lot of times, and I'm very guilty of this, sometimes you just don't have the energy to even discipline or whatever, and you just give in. But I have to realize as he's getting older, it's working against him, me not doing that work. So I just have to do the work. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things I feel like I failed at as far as my timing. Okay. You know, I would really love to give my son more time, more of me. You know?
Yeah, and I think that's pretty normal. Like for most single parents, and even like, you know, couples, married couples that have children. Sometimes we live in a society where things are always, you know, hustle and bustle. You come and go unless you just got it like that. You just, you know, walking on the beach at 12 p.m. with the kids, going, taking flights. You know, some people got it like that.
Our producer got it like that. She just be on the beach, girl, her pina coladas. I'm just playing. She don't drink.
Out there.
She don't drink pina
coladas. I do not drink
like
pina coladas.
Yeah, that's right. Margaritas. I don't know, but you know, unless you got it like that, like you can really do that in your leisure, and you have your kids with you or not with you, whatever, and that's cool. You know, either way is okay, but as long as you're striving for that, and I think that's what's important, that your son sees that.
Oh yeah, he sees why I'm working hard.
Oh, yeah, because somebody told me that too recently. Like, it doesn't matter where you are now, as long as you're taking those steps to get where you need to be. Your kids see that grind, and they respect that all the more. You know, and you are where you are for a reason. Absolutely. So shout out to growth, because some people don't grow. Some people they like for us, for example, we were whole adults when my mom realized, like, dang, I should start working. Like, dang, I should start listening to y'all when y'all speak, you know? And we still struggle with that. So like, that's what I'm saying. My mom she's 60 and you know, I'm 32, and it's like, okay, so now we there, but your baby is 6, you good, you know? Yeah. But amen for honesty. So speaking of work, my second parenting failure is a time where I refused a really, really, really good job. Like, man, that would advance in my career, like advance me in my career, like majorly. Well, I'm still in school, so we both still pursuing our education, which is good. But at that point in time, I took a break because I had my babies, and I'm like, okay, let me work under my certifications. So right now I have 2, but then I had 1, so certification. So anyway, long story short, I was in school, I got pregnant, I stopped, but then I'm like, I was working as a dietary supervisor for a company. I'm not going to mention the company, but it was a pretty good company. And I had went through all the training. I was like here and there, different hospitals, working with different crews and stuff like that, different shifts. I was tired. Jaleel was he wasn't even 1 yet. Like, it started off, I was driving from Moreno Valley to downtown LA every day at like 4:30 a.m. And I wouldn't get home until like 11 p.m. So I grinded until I, you know, got a place back in the LA County area. And then once I got here, it's like I just forgot about all that. I threw all that out the window because I continued to grind, hustle, and bustle. But it's like once I got to that peak of like success, they had offered me this good position, paying like a good amount of money. You know what I mean? Like almost like a six-figure salary, a little bit less, but it was like very much worth my hard work. Okay. And it was like some well-known people in the industry that would have been training me. Like, that had already, like, started looking over at me and stuff. And so the regional manager and stuff, they was like, this is a good worker. We're excited to have you on board. You're going to meet with the administrator of the hospital. This is going to be your facility. This is your crew. This is your hours. This is your paperwork you got to do. It was laid out for me. Mm-hmm. And I literally, like, refused to go in. Like, I remember I was so tired. It was rainy. I was grouchy.
Wait, so they offer you the position.
This is not.
And then, like, the next day, you was like, I'm not gonna go to work.
Well, I had been training. It's from like that Monday to Friday was my training, like my official like training for that position. No. Egg on my face. I know.
Break it down.
It was that Thursday night.
Okay.
Where they told me tomorrow, Friday, is your last day of training. You're gonna meet the administrator and everything. And I guess I was extremely nervous, but I didn't admit it at that time. Like, it was like self-sabotage in the highest form. You know?
So because you were nervous, you figured, I don't want to meet them. I'm not going to go in.
Yeah. And like, I made up this excuse. Like, the higher ups was calling me. I sent them a voicemail. And I literally was laying in the bed with my baby. Like, Jaleel was like, girl, like 8 months. And Janiyah was, she had just turned, she was on her way to turn 2, you know. And I was like, I'm not going. My mom didn't really know exactly what's going on. Like, she was there with me, helping me at that time. She was like, you're not going to work? So I was like, nah, I can't work for that company. And I just laid back down and went to sleep. This is a true story.
I'm speechless because it's like, why? Girl.
Yeah, I was going to be making, and then the exposure alone.
So that's some real self-sabotage.
Yeah, and
because who's to say how far you would have been today?
Yeah,
if you didn't do that.
And I had to walk through that, like, because it's been, Jaleel was 1. It's been like 4.5 years since then, but like, I had to walk through, like, what made you do that? Like, why would you do that? Like, look where you are now.
And you worked so hard to get there.
I worked so hard. Like, I dealt with some crap, some crazy people, some crazy employees, and some crazy administrators, and I was just, like, at the moment where, the breakthrough moment, and, like, I'm like, Lord, if you give me another opportunity in any regard, like, I'm not going to sabotage you. But I had to look at that and see what made me do that.
And then, too, what headspace you were in at that time. You know, and then you was much younger. How old were you? Like, this is
in my late 20s.
5 years ago, yeah. And a lot of time, you know what's so sad? Like, when we're in our 20s, we just stupid. Like, you just do dumb stuff.
You do.
And that could have said, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm just like coming hard on you, throwing in your face, but it's like that was an opportunity that could have set you and your kids up.
That's exactly the point.
Were you in postpartum?
I probably was in postpartum, and that's another.
Because you had 2 babies back to back.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you're in postpartum, you don't even realize it sometimes that you're in it, in the thick of it.
Okay.
Ooh, so that probably was.
And I got mad at my kid's father because of that. Because even though he wasn't there at that time. And because he wasn't there, I felt like I wasn't able to really juggle everything mentally. And I was just like, something got to give. And that was taking a bunch of my time and energy. And I was like, I just couldn't do it. And who knows? Like, God might have, like, gave me that. I don't know. Because it would have took too much of me in the long run or get me lost from my purpose. I don't know. You know, but maybe it was an opportunity. I missed it. But at the end of the day, I might have been in postpartum. So I look back, and that's one reason I try not to beat myself up. I'm like, dang, like, that was something that I did.
And postpartum is so unreasonable. It's like you just do stuff, and you don't have no reason why. You know, and it's no explanation. Because I went through, a lot of them suffer from postpartum, and I went through postpartum and contemplating suicide, killing me and my baby. Like,
wow.
Yeah, so, like, when you're in postpartum, you just don't know.
Yeah.
You're irrational about things, you know what I mean? So you probably were in postpartum.
Maybe so. I never really thought deep into that. That's good, Takira. That's good. But that's definitely something that I've come to. I've gained closure. You know, I came to terms that was me then, and I wouldn't do it now.
Good. And you have to learn as long as you learn from it. You know.
And I'm glad that it happened in a sense, because this is a takeaway from it. Now I can see. Like, in the future, if my kids were to do things like that, like, not if they were to do something like. Yeah, I will push them, and I know that that's a possible flaw in my lineage. You know what I'm saying? My babies to come, like, okay, I'm known to self-sabotage in the past, so my daughter or my son could have that embedded in them, and I won't let that happen. That was
that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
So that was what I took away from
That's good. And then even now in the future, you know about yourself that you have those self-sabotage traits, and it's like when when things start to get hard for you, instead of you maybe readjusting your time management, you're not just gonna quit and say like, I can't do it, you know. So it's good for you to recognize that, for you to like make sure that you don't continue to walk in that.
And shout out to you and the producer Takira, because y'all helped me out with that too.
Recently. But you know what, I feel like this. You can't help somebody who don't want to be helped. And then I have to realize, too, where I was.
Okay.
Where I was, the things that you were dealing with, it was where I was a couple of years ago. So I saw me and you, like, no, we're not doing this.
That's right.
We not. Because I know that it's not going to be good for you. And then when you self-waddle and self-pity and stay there too long, it will destroy you.
It will.
It will. So I have to just say, let me check her right quick.
That's right.
And anybody who loves you, wants to see you win, they gonna check you. Now, it was up to you how you was gonna react, but I was gonna say something.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's why it's so good to dig deep in ourselves when we see something.
Absolutely. And I would want somebody to do that to me, even if I am, and I have not arrived. I'm not saying it like I've arrived and you're my protege. No, what I am saying is that I want somebody to be the same for me.
Oh, yeah.
Have enough love for me to tell me like, Lachey,
we all need somebody to lean.
Lean on me.
Hey.
Okay. And sing. Y'all are too much. Okay, so I had 3. So actually my last one is something that sometimes it bothers me depending on what it is, and sometimes it doesn't. Do it one more time. They always on our set, y'all. Do y'all hear that? Always on our set. It's okay.
They want to be a part 2.
Right. It's all right. This is humble beginnings. Because guess what? When I get there,
Soundproof Studio.
we ain't going to be having all of this.
We decree and declare it. Soundproof Studio in Jesus' name.
Hey, Shondo. It's all right. It's all right. The devil don't want us to be great. He mad. He real mad because I got a blessing today. He mad.
Oh,
you mad. No, I'm looking up there. You mad. You mad. You mad.
Oh, no.
Shoot. So my last one for me for parenting failure is me having to say no due to financial reasons. Being a single mother, and mind you, the type of job that I have, before me being a peace officer, I was making more money. But I decided to take a voluntary demotion in money-wise to have the schedule that I want to make sure that I'm home during the weekends and able to go home every night. Well, before I was working graveyard, split shifts. You was working all kinds of shifts. So I was like, no, I'm a single mother now. I need to be home Monday through Friday, and I need to be off on the weekends and major holidays. So I have to kind of sacrifice a demotion every month, you know, to have the certain position. So it was worth it because I can at least like be with my child and, you know, see him more and not miss out on family events and things like that because I have to work. But at the same time, it kind of hit me where like certain things we just can't do.
Right.
Because I can't afford to do that.
Right.
And I'm trying to save for this, or I got to get new tires, or I got to get this, get that. So that's like my biggest thing, like having to say no to my son because mommy just don't have it.
Yeah.
And that kind of, I've gotten a lot better, but it used to just tear me up. Like, we don't have that. We don't have that. We don't have that. So for me, it's just, that's one of my motivations. Like, I want to be able to not only be there physically, but be able to do things. Like, my son, for some reason, wants to go to Hawaii so bad.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why. Okay. And he's 6. Like, where have you seen Hawaii?
Who in Hawaii, though? What's in his heart?
Like, seriously, like, where have you seen Hawaii at? But my son, I think he's been here before because he's the only 6-year-old I know who loves vacation. Like, he loves hotel rooms. He loves his luggage. He just enjoys vacation. Like, he loves, when he was younger, he used to call it cation. We used to say, no, it's vacation. He'd be like, it's cation. I'm going on cation. He's like, you go on your cation, I'm going to go on my vacation. You know what I mean? But he just loves vacation. So that's one of my goals. Is like, once I make it, I want to make sure that we do our, you know, yearly vacations. Our yearly, just him and I, you know, or we travel a lot. He's going to be a traveler. And one of my goals is for us to get, or for him to have a passport and things like that, because those are things I want to expose my son to. But right now I have to say no because it's just not in my budget. So I won't say I necessarily feel like a failure. It's just, at one point I did, like, dang, I can't give him the littlest things that he wants. I know, you know what you mean. But now it's like, you know what? No, I'm not going to beat myself down. I'm going to work my butt off, and eventually I'm going to get there. And I just tell him, like, just not now. It's just delayed. It ain't a no, it's just the delay. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things I just wanted. And then for single moms out there, if y'all feel that way, don't be too hard on yourself. You are doing the best you can do. You working hard. We see you going to school. We see you having late nights. You still trying to keep that body right. Like, you doing a lot. You know what I mean?
Give yourself some credit.
Give
some
yourself
space.
And
so that's the thing, because like you said, I've felt that too, you know, and I walked in that too. Like, dang, I gotta keep saying no to my kids. They know what maybe means now. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. But she like, that means no. But now I feel okay about it because in life there's no's. You know what I'm saying? They have to learn that. You know, whether it's my fault as a parent, I should have done more in my singleness to work hard. That's why I shout out to women that are single, that's grinding. Don't lose focus of what's ahead of you. You know, whether you have a family or not, just prepare yourself in every way. You know, and I had to accept the fact that I didn't do what I was supposed to do in my singleness and in the time frame I gave myself. I got distracted. It's okay.
Right.
You know, you working towards that once again.
Learn from it. Absolutely.
That's great. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh.
Girl.
We learning, girl. We learning.
Growing. Hey.
1 minute.
Hey.
1 minute.
Hey.
1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute.
You like the deep voice? 1 minute.
1 minute.
Okay.
Should you go?
Why are you trying to compete with the deepness?
Okay, so I'm gonna go high. That's what I'm gonna say. I go high. Okay. When you go high, I go low. Okay.
All right, Michelle Bobby. When they go low, you go high. Okay. So what do you think our viewers should take away from?
Well, definitely, a failure is not a failure unless you define it as such. You know what I mean? Like, you can turn that around and make it a win. You can make it a lesson. Like, you can make it something that you feed off of to motivate you to do better. We as moms, period, as human beings, we do things and we regret or we wish we can do over, but keep striving towards, better. Whatever you learn from, whatever you did in the past that you wouldn't do anymore, turn it around, fix it, flip it. Don't let it eat you up. Don't let it consume you. Just keep working towards your goal, move forward, know that you're doing the best for your babies, and then in the end, they'll appreciate that, and they'll see that, and they'll feed off of that.
That girl good! Drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
Love you, mommy.
Bye.